Good morning, guys. So, over the past couple of months, I'm sure that all of you regular subscribers and watchers would have noticed I've started flying quite a few EDF models. Kind of models like this, and this, and this. And quite simply, they are fantastic. I love them. They fly so well. But, yeah, the other day I was out at the field and we were in typical British, winter weather. It's kind of a bit meh, a bit rubbish. But, yeah, it was a chilly day. And I noticed that I was getting utterly awful performance. Now, I think when I arrived at the field, I was getting 5 to 7 minutes out of my packs. I was taking off, I was enjoying it. And then after about an hour and a half, I suddenly noticed that all my packs I hadn't used yet seemed to be flat. They just were not delivering any power at all. So there's only one reason for this, and this is the batteries were cold. They had reached a point where they were no longer functioning so well. Yeah, so what I decided to do was investigate Lipo warmers. Now, I guess first off, before we go into the warmers, let's look at the science here. So I found this little extract from the Castle Creations website. And essentially, base level, the discharge rating for a Lipo is directly affected by the temperature of the battery. When the temperature of the battery is below 10 degrees centigrade, you will start to notice performance drops. Significant issues start to occur when you go to -7. The colder the battery, the bigger the drop in the C rating and the resulting drop in performance. Battery voltage will sag more. Yep, it does. And this is essentially due to the increased resistance. I'm gathering the internal resistance increases, which results in the battery not working so well. And then, of course, it reduces the life expectancy and the performance of the battery. So, how do we fix this? Lipo warmers, as I said earlier. Now, I started looking into this and came across a couple of options. And they all seemed a bit, oh, cracky, do I really want to go down that route? And I came up with a somewhat steampunk solution, which was a 5 or 6 pound thermal pad and an XT60 connector connected to it. And it does work. It will heat your bag up and it does what it's meant to do. But if you check it with one of these little thermal temperature things, after about 5 minutes of being plugged into a 3S battery, this thing is sitting at 100 degrees centigrade. Now, 2 things are going wrong here. Number 1, my Lipo is going flat bloody fast. And number 2, this is getting a whole lot hotter than it needs to be. I want to warm my Lipos, I don't want to cook them. And after 5 minutes I stopped using it because actually it seems to just get hotter and hotter. I don't know what the maximum temperature is, but I suspect it will probably peak out around 110, 120 degrees. Either way, too hot, steampunk solution, doesn't work. Gone. That brings me to the next one. Turnigy Lipo warmers. These are actually pretty decent. Essentially what you've got is a heated wire running through a Lipo charge bag, an XT60 connector, and a little button over here for controlling the temperature. And at its simplest level, we put our battery inside there, we get another Lipo to charge it up, and you can see we got a flashing light saying that it's on 25 degrees, and I can move it up or down the scale. Can we see what happens there? I can basically just set what temperature I want. Nice and simple. In fact, it's already getting warm in my hand. So this works very, very well. Pull the battery off that. But there's also a problem with these. In some ways, they've been built very much for your drone flyer. Your guy who's flying a quadcopter probably got 4 or 5, maybe 1500 milliamp packs. You'll probably fit them in and it will do the job. Well, I'm flying big EDF jets, and I need 5 or 6,000 milliamp batteries, all running 6S, and they're monsters. They're big batteries. I would, at a push, put 2 batteries inside this bag. So, great for little flying sessions, not so good for my needs. Now that brings me to what I consider the ultimate Lipo warmer. And I was digging around and I found a company called Hadi-RC out of Germany. I'll put a link up to their page in the description. But there we go. look at this. Yes, it's a box. It is a box, but it's also a lipo warmer. And if you look on the front here, you'll see we got a little LED display. And what happens is you plug a battery into the side of your case and the whole case heats up. So what I'm going to do is pop this open for you and you can see what you get for your money. You get a great big case. It's all thermally insulated and padded. The nice hard pad. Now this is a great big heater pad at the bottom. You get some charger cables. Well, I call them charger cables, but they're basically power leads. And essentially, you plug one of those leads into the side, and I'm going to do the same over here. Get the correct one. Yep. And if we plug in here, you'll notice this is a very high quality connector to it. It rotates in and latches with a lock. And we can then plug a suitable up to 4S battery, I believe it takes. I'm putting a 3S one in, and we get a handy little chirp. And I don't know if we'll be able to see it. I'll try. Oh, there you go. You can see the OLED type display thing going on there. Well, it's actually an LCD display. And what that's doing is it gives you a complete interface on which you can set the temperature you would like. You can configure the type of battery with a low voltage alarm. You can do all sorts of stuff. And the end result is the inside of this box gets up to a lovely temperature and stays there. So using effectively one of these with a car charger adapter on it, which is also available from Hadi-RC, I can get my lipos all up to sort of 30 odd degrees on the way to the field, and then just off one of these batteries keep them at 30 degrees, which the end result means there we go, I end up with a super warm ready to run battery at the point in time that I need it. Now the gotchas. Number one, bloody expensive. These things are not cheap, but you know, Hadi-RC do also sell all of the bits individually, and you can buy the control board, the sensors and things, and use those to make your own box in your own case. And I dare say you could bring the cost down for yourself if you were doing that. I was a bit lazy. I bought one ready to go, and it's superbly well built. It really is just an utterly fantastic piece of equipment. Now, the next gotcha, rather annoyingly, this is a little bit of just German engineering side. The software is all completely German based, so all of the text entries are German. I'm fortunate, I know a little bit of Afrikaans from having grown up in South Africa, and I do kind of get what they're saying and I can translate it. So that's annoying, but the truth is, I don't really ever have to go through that menu. All I got to do is plug in, because once it's set up and the default settings are all correct, you plug in the battery and you go. Now, I've actually had some dialogue with the guys at Hadi-RC, and there's a potential for an English version software to come out. I'm in talks with them. We'll see what happens, but utterly no guarantees. It will be kind of cool if it does, because I think it will open up their market to the Western market a little bit more. But this, as they go, is superb. It's a box. All my lipos for the field can go in it, which means I'm carrying a nice just single bag, you know, under the arm, and off I go, and I've got all my lipos in it. They're the right temperature. I go out and fly. It just works. You know, I went out the other day and I had 8 EDF batteries with me. They all went in. My buddy Rolf turned up. He chucked all of his quadcopter batteries in. They all went in. And it was just superb. Everything just did what it was meant to do. So, yeah, big shout out to this product. It is a superb lipo warmer. Now, while I'm at it, there is one other product that I've found, which is the Ethics lipo warmer, which Ethics sell a kind of like a heated thermal lunchbox almost, which is designed essentially for the same job. Unfortunately, you know, I can't seem to, for love or money, find any for sale. I see them listed on the Ethics site, and I see plenty of sites, but they're all shown as out of stock. I don't know if it's still continuing. Maybe they still exist, but that's kind of a medium range solution that really does suit the quad market, but also pretty cool. But I figured it was worth mentioning. And there you go, guys. Lipo warmers. Why do you need them? Well, because your lipos perform better when they are warm, and particularly in these sort of winter months, you probably want to consider something, whether it's a cheap Turnigy bag for your flying, or something more blooming expensive like that one which I've got, but fantastic. Either way, something like that will serve you very, very well. Hey guys, enjoy, have fun, cheers.